All right, so this should be our last video in this section, talking about reference angles and special ed triangles to evaluate trig functions. So what about if I wanted to find the sine of negative 120 degrees? Sine of negative 120. Focus. All right, so we have to draw a negative angle. So that just means we start in the opposite direction, 120 degrees. So instead of going 120 this way, we're going this way 120. There's 90 degrees. So 120, I have to go another 30 beyond that. So there's my negative 120 degree angle. So if I was going to find the sine of it, I need my reference angle. There's my reference angle. It's the angle that it makes, the terminal side. This is called the terminal side with the x-axis. So here's my triangle that I'm going to work with. That angle right there, since this is 180, so that's 60 degrees. So there's my 60 degree angle. That means this is 30. That's 90. All right, across from 30 is 1, double it 2, square root of 3 for the other side. All right, so positive or negative. Starting here, you go left 1, so that's negative 1, and down square root of 3, so that's negative square root of 3. So there's negative, negative. Hypotenuse is always positive. Okay, once we have it drawn, the sign would be opposite over hypotenuse, negative square root of 3 over 2. Negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so it's the same thing. You go the opposite direction, draw the terminal side, find the angle it makes with the x-axis. So the angle between the terminal side and the x-axis is our reference angle, which is 60 degrees. Our reference angle is always positive. Draw our triangle, labeling the appropriate negatives, and then find the opposite over our hypotenuse, negative square root of 3 over 2. I'll give you one more example. Let's say I want to find the cosine of negative 225. All right, so negative 225. There's negative 90. There's negative 180. We don't go all the way to 270. So 180, that's 45 beyond there. So there's my angle. There's my terminal side. That's a negative 225 degree angle. If this is 180, that leaves a 45 degree reference angle. There's the triangle we're going to use. So it's important to draw it the same orientation. Like, don't do a triangle over here, 45, 45, because it's pointing this way. It has to have the same shape. Don't do it the opposite way. So draw it the same way you see it. So 45, 45, 90 is a 1, 1, square root of 2. They're all that way. So now, going from here left, that's negative. Going up is positive 1. So the cosine of negative 225 is negative 1 over square root of 2. Focus. Come on now. You got this. Come on. There you go. So negative 1 over square root of 2. Multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 2. So negative square root of 2 over 2. All right, just to kind of tie it all together, what if I asked you what is the cosine of 135 degrees? Cosine of 135 degrees is 135, it's positive, so we're going to go 90 degrees plus 45 is right here. So there's my terminal side. So they actually land in the same quadrant. This is quadrant 2. And the triangle is literally the same thing. So then the cosine of 135 degrees would be -1 over square root of 2 or negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so cosine of negative 225 is the same as the cosine of 135 because these angles, negative 225 and positive 135, are considered coterminal. Remember, this is the terminal side. They're coterminal because they land in the same spot. So then their trig things, functions, will always be the same because it's the same terminal side.